Hello everybody, I'm back again, and once again, as is my typical way, I'm a little bit late with my weekly Pagan challenge video. And that's actually because I've been working on some ideas for videos for you guys that I'm really excited about, but just haven't put up yet. So this one's actually late, and it's being recorded kind of retrograde, haha. And so anyway, I'm back, and the week's topics for 11 and 12 are what does the sun mean to you, and for week 12 is what does this time of year mean to you. And it's kind of ironic, and I almost wish that I hadn't waited to make these videos, because the funny thing is it is no longer spring. Where I live, it has reverted back to winter. So meanwhile, these videos were supposed to kind of coincide with Ostara and Easter and, you know, springtime and the spring equinox and all of those things, and that kind of really didn't happen. It's the first week of April for me, and it's freaking snowing and cold and more wintry than it's been the entire year for us where we live. So meanwhile, besides the fact that I'm backtracking, that I just wanted to give you guys some background onto where we actually are with things, and the fact that how I feel about these 2 weeks worth of discussion questions kind of are to blame for the fact that the video didn't get made until now. So I actually kept my Ostara celebrations pretty simple, and I actually still have the same altar up, so I am doing that video today. It just hasn't, it's gonna be, like I said, retrograde. It's late, but I wanted to show you guys what I had up because I still like it, and it's a lot more simple than a couple of my past videos for my kind of my show and tell for what my regular witch, like, kind of lame ass person pagan altar is like. So keep that in mind. I will be posting that later today, but anyway, let's get into this week's actual discussions. And there isn't a whole heck of a lot to say about how I feel about the sun. And what does it mean to me? Because really, to me, the sun is 2 things. It is the literal and figurative symbol of life. Now, I say that because, kind of obviously, without the sun, our planet wouldn't really exist. We're in the Goldilocks zone as it is, and that basically means that without the sun being exactly the distance away from our planet and our orientation to it, we would not have life on our planet. Which also, I'm going to get a little bit science fiction-y here, but that is the main reason that we have had so much, I think, difficulty trying to find other life, because it's very difficult to find actual planets out in the rest of the solar system that have our notion of what life is and the Goldilocks zone. There are, I think they said in the most recent articles that I read, at least 100 other planets that do have kind of this Goldilocks zone idea. You know, they're not too far from the sun, so they aren't frozen planets, but they aren't too close that they're like Mars and dry and desolate. And so they're our idea of the life-giving planet, but they are so incredibly far away, and that doesn't necessarily mean that there's life on these such planets. It's just that they appear to be in our Goldilocks zone. So if you're interested in astronomy or astrology, to me, like I am, that's very interesting. That the sun has always kind of been perfectly where it is, and we've always been perfectly where we are. And for me, that's really what the sun is. It's our life giver, it's our life bringer. And it will someday probably be our life destroyer. It will probably explode or implode, and if you know anything about astronomy or anything about kind of how science works, if our sun explodes, we explode and we die. And kind of, I think they said that our sun is like halfway through its life, which that's like billions of years, really. So the people that are worried that we're all going to die very soon are pretty much wrong, because it's highly unlikely that our sun will explode. Now, that is just my non-religious, non-philosophical, just literal understanding of my beliefs of the sun. As for philosophical, religious, pagan, any of those things, it's still the life bringer. So, I'm a sun baby. Just like I am a moon baby, I'm also a sun baby. And that really means that I really soak up the sun in the summer. I love the sun. And I have a lot of respect for people who study the sun, but I also have a lot of respect for sun energy. And, you know, the moon energy can, I forgot to say this, or maybe I did, but I don't remember if I mentioned it in the moon phases video, but the moon, to me, has kind of a cold presence. It's got a cold energy to it. So, in retrospect of that video, I didn't really discuss how the moon can be used for different kind of magic compared to the sun. But for me, the sun is more of an energy that I would use for, say, life bringing, or I mean, I would say fertility even. Those type of spells would work well with sun energy. You know, if you want plants to grow, you put them in the sun. For most kinds of plants, they need some sunlight. And so it would make sense to me, and I have before, used the sun in some of my spell work, which I don't do a lot of, but I do certainly use it. And, you know, you make moon water, but I like to charge crystals in the sun. And a lot of people do this as well, but, you know, put it in salt, clean it, cleanse it, and charge it in the sun, because you get so much energy. And it's kind of an energy that you can feel. Sometimes, as we're kind of going through day-to-day life, we don't, you know, pay attention to nature as, you know, closely as we might want to. But the heat from the sun is one viable way of testing the energy of something. Now, you can put anything out in the sun and it will get hot, especially on a hot day. But if you put it in direct sunlight, it will literally get hot, and some things can actually burn you. And that right there, that is energy that is transferred from the sun, and that is powerful. Not only is it cleaning and charging, but it is also a very warm, literally, but also figuratively, kind of energy. So, you know, the sun is awesome. That's basically my final word on that for week 11. Now for week 12, as I already dittered on and on and on about how the fact that it's not actually spring anymore, like as far as literally goes, how I feel about this time of year is that typically I would be expecting lots of rain and intermittent sunshine. I would be expecting the snow to go away, which if you look outside of my house, which I won't show you because it's just depressing, it's not happening. I would be expecting it to be warmer. So typically I feel like this time of year around Ostara and early spring is a time of rebirth for the earth. You know, grass is starting to show up again, you know, trees are starting to blossom, hopefully. You know, people are kind of digging themselves out, you know, figuratively and literally speaking, out of their houses, out of their homes, out of their hibernation. Animals start reproducing, which is why we have chicks and we have bunnies and we have all these, like, fertility concepts around this time of year, and especially with Ostara. So, you know, it's a very vibrant time of year, typically. Right now I'm kind of feeling kind of meh about it because it's not that sunny, it's not that warm, it's not really raining, it's freaking snowing. So I'm a little pissed off at Mother Nature right now. As much as I love her, I'm like, what the fuck? You know, what is going on? This is not what I signed up for. And typically I often relate this time of year to Aphrodite or Venus and to Demeter and Persephone. And you know, it's mostly because you know, Diana and all of these they're kind of specific goddesses, which I don't necessarily do a lot with specifics, but I also don't really do a lot with overarching archetypes for these women either. But, you know, Demeter is probably the most well-known of kind of a fertility goddess, that other than Venus, but everyone kind of looks at her as, you know, the love goddess, which is not really true. She has a lot of fertility rites, and, you know, she doesn't get as enough credit sometimes, I think, for who she is. But she's also a goddess of motherhood, and she's a goddess of sex and reproduction. There you go, fertility, perfect for this time of year. And what was I saying? I know I'm blathering on a bit today, but I'm kind of scatterbrained. I haven't had a lot of days off lately, and today is finally a day off for me, which is why I'm recording right now. But it also kind of makes me feel a little bit scatterbrained, because I'm a little bit like, what the hell am I talking about right now? And I think part of that is I'm missing a lot of the energy that I would have if this really were a fertile time for where I live, and it's not. So I'm not feeling too peppy about it as I was hoping to feel. Maybe that will change if the snow goes away. I would have preferred the snow to be around like 2-3 months ago when it was Yule, and there might have been like an inch of snow maybe that didn't really stay, but it was sort of wintry feeling. I would have preferred that then. So I'll leave you guys here with this. I won't continue blathering on and boring you guys with these 2 weeks topics. And I'll see you very soon. Making videos today, so I'll probably post them between today and tomorrow, hopefully. Probably in the middle of the night like I normally do. But blessed be, guys. I'll see you soon.